impact of the agency's 68 years existence in Ghana.
Coming up in business news, economist Professor Peter Korte urges newly appointed Bank of Ghana governor to implement policies to stabilize the cedi and address the high cost of credit.
On the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump says he will cut all future funding to South Africa.
Details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
Let's dive right into the details we have for you this evening. And I'm sure many of you have been following developments in Parliament in the last few days, especially from Thursday after the brawl broke out. Well, a lot of key actors in that have been speaking. One of them is the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament and Chairman of the Appointments Committee, who has expressed dissatisfaction over the conduct of some members of the Appointments Committee and Parliament during the ongoing ministerial vetting. He stated that to some extent he feels disrespected by the manner in which the vetting process has unfolded. According to him, the Speaker of Parliament has the authority to suspend MPs for misconduct during the proceedings.
The law gives the Speaker the powers to suspend these 4 members of Parliament for this number of days. Which specific provision?
Well, I think we have to look at the combined effect of Standing Order 5, 129, 130, there about the combined effect. We give the authority to the Speaker so to do.
To suspend members of Parliament?
Yes.
From attending to the business of the House?
Yes.
Depriving their constituents of representation?
He has that particular power.
He has the power.
Even every member of Parliament can suffer a suspension.
Even before they are heard?
If a member of Parliament cannot suffer. You see, the difference is that if the incidents had happened outside Parliament and a report is made to Parliament, the approach would have been different.
Do you feel disrespected?
Well, I indicated that in every society, some are morally righteous, others are contrary. By the virtue of the position that I am occupying, certain things should be welcome.
But do you feel disrespected sometimes?
Well, to some extent.
To some extent?
Yes.
You feel disrespected?
I feel so disrespected. Because I have adopted a tolerance approach in order to get the nominees vetted.
Now, President John Mahama has made some new appointments, and let me first take you through some of the new appointments that he has made. First is the chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Nimwe Thompson. And as chairman of the commission, he will collaborate more closely with the Minister of Finance, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, government statistician, and other presidential appointees and representatives from the 16 regions to provide strategic advice to the President and Parliament for Ghana's development. Also appointed is Mr. Chumbuafo. He will head the Financial Intelligence Center, and his role is to improve Ghana's anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism regime through the use of modern technology and software. Next is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Victor Asaribampo. With a strong background in public health financing, he is expected to implement strategies that expand the National Health Insurance Scheme coverage, especially for vulnerable populations, in line with the 2024 NDC Health Agenda. So these are the new appointments by President John Mahama.
And talking about President John Dramani Mahama's appointees, some of them have taken office already. One of them is the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Madam Linda Akwele-Oklu, who has targeted to fix 70% of Accra's non-functioning streetlights within her first 50 days in office. Meeting her staff on the first day at work, she outlined her vision for the region, promising to address the poor sanitation in the capital, Accra.
A brighter and safer Accra, that is the commitment of the new Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Akwele-Oklu, as she begins her tenure. In her first official meeting with staff, she set a bold target.
Within 50 days in office, all these things should be fixed. 50 days in office. All the street lights? Yes, not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it, should be, yes.
Beyond the poor lighting system in the capital, the minister pledged to review and implement a comprehensive sanitation and waste policy to ensure cleaner streets and better waste management.
We will review and implement a comprehensive sanitation and waste policy in line with the NDC's Clean Up Ghana initiative to promote a healthier and cleaner environment. Waste segregation will be encouraged with support for garbage bins, bags, bins in public places and homes. The reintroduction of the National Sanitation Day and the Cleaner City Award will promote a competitive and responsible approach to environmental sanitation. In line with this, there will be a Regional Sanitation Day on the last Friday of every month.
She also urged staff to work diligently to ensure Greater Accra remains a model region for the rest of the country. As the minister settles into her role, all eyes will be on how quickly her promises translate into action in view of the myriad challenges that confronts the capital. With street lighting and sanitation high on her agenda, residents are hopeful for a new chapter in Greater Accra's development.
And hopefully we see Accra properly lit and our street lights working in the next 50 to 70 days. All right, so let's stay on issues regarding Parliament. The minority in the House has rejected the suspension of 3 members of the NPP caucus, describing the move as contrary to law, harsh, and one capable of undermining the will of the Ghanaian people. Leader Alexander Peña-Markin said that the Speaker of Parliament acted in bad faith by not giving fair hearing to the lawmakers affected. Christian Yali reports.
According to the minority MPs, the Speaker did not act right by suspending 3 of their colleagues without a fair hearing. They say the action of the Speaker has gravely affected their colleagues, and as a result, they have referred the matter to their party's National Council to seek a resolution. Also, the NPP MPs say that they are going to explore all diplomatic means while affirming that they will never be intimidated by their low numbers.
The chair of the committee did not communicate anything to the Speaker. Neither did the Speaker invite any of us in leadership for any discussion. As a responsible caucus, we are going to ferry our concerns in a memo to his office. And we believe that that would even form the basis for the discussion. We believe that the right thing to do is to grant these affected members hearing. We have also taken the matter up. We have escalated the matter to our party level. But we want to say this with emphasis. This mighty few, this happy few, will not allow itself to be intimidated.
And yet again, the minority took on the clerk to the appointment committee. They say she has been biased and unfair and has demonstrated that she is partisan. As a result, they do not want her to be on that committee again. They say, as a group of NPP MPs, they are going through difficult times.
The clerk to the committee is a partisan clerk. She is not a neutral professional clerk. She's caused us a lot of discomfort. We've tolerated, accommodated her. at this point, it's getting out of hand. She advertises at midnight. As a minority leader, I am to know those to be vetted the next day ahead of time. He doesn't share that with us. A lot of times I had to manage the pain, the frustration of my members. For now, we don't want the clerk on the appointment committee again.
It remains to be seen whether the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, is going to grant these requests by the minority MPs. But for these MPs, they believe that all proceedings that took place on Friday after Speaker's ruling were illegal because of the gaps that were left due to the suspension of the 4 MPs.
We went to court the last time because all doors for engagement were shut. On this occasion, the doors of engagement have not been shut yet. We are going to engage, Mr. Speaker. We want to give reverence to his high office.
Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Right, so let's speak to Dr. Rashid Draman, who's joined us for a quick conversation regarding all of these developments from Parliament. He's the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Doc, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good evening.
Right, since the unfortunate events of Thursday, we have heard and seen accusations and counter-accusations, and, you know, the Speaker has also waded in and his orders are being questioned. What are your preliminary comments on this entire episode?
Well, Martin, so first of all, was action needed and a quick one? Yes. Did the Speaker err legally? That one, I don't know. Maybe the lawyers will tell us and the law courts can tell us. But let me say this. Perhaps the Right Honourable Speaker took that line of action rather than go through the traditional, what we have seen over the years, referral to the Privileges Committee, where many people say as soon as a matter is referred to the Privileges Committee, it simply means that they are putting the matter on its deathbed, because on many occasions, matters have been sent to the Privileges Committee, and then members of Parliament would pat each other on the back, and then the matter ends there. We don't hear very much of it. Maybe the Right Honourable Speaker was mindful of that history, and that's why he took this course of action. Is it legal? Did he err? I mean, like I said, perhaps the courts will tell us. I mean, but you know, I heard the minority leader at the end of the clip that you played say that I think this time around all doors are open, unlike the last time, because many people are saying if the last time they rushed to court, why don't they do the same thing now and let the courts determine whether the Speaker was wrong or not. If you take the pulse of the nation, you take your microphone out and talk to maybe 9 out of 10 Ghanaians. I mean, people believe that, you know, our honorable members really need to lead us and really need to behave honorably. I mean, that episode, I think, is just unacceptable. How that is dealt with perhaps remains a matter that would be maybe a subject of conversation among the leadership of Parliament, including the minority leader, the Speaker, and all those who form the leadership, so that at least they preserve the little trust that Parliament has of from the Ghanaian people.
Right. Look,
because data after data after data is not in favor of our members of Parliament and the institution in terms of the trust that we have for them. And issues such as this one, I believe, only go to aggravate the situation and create an image, I think, in the eyes of the public that is not favorable to Parliament.
Right. What the minority keeps insisting, right from the day they were sworn in, that they feel intimidated but will not be intimidated. They feel they are being bullied but will not allow themselves to be bullied. Do you get that sense that the minority is actually being bullied by the majority? Alexander Penyumaking actually calls them the so-called majority, because clearly he also, like some NDC people have expressed, do not see the use of their numbers. But on the other hand, he's insisting they are being bullied and not allowed to engage in the parliamentary business. Do you get the sense, as someone who's also followed parliamentary business very closely?
Well, I think it's it will be quite difficult because I mean, perhaps they know a lot that we don't know. But if you look at, I mean, leave the discussion, confine it to the proceedings at the appointments committee, I think the minority has been given a lot of space to operate, particularly the minority leader, at least some of the vetting processes that some of us watched. I mean, on occasions he had about 3-4 hours, I mean, to ask all the questions that he needs to ask. Whether this is not enough, I believe maybe there's something that perhaps those of us who are watching in public don't know. Whatever it is, I believe at the end of the day, just like in the 8th Parliament, I mean, here more than the 8th Parliament, because of the numbers and the balance, there's a need for a lot of consensus. There's a need for a lot of conversation. I think this public display of disagreement between the two sides might not be very, very helpful. I think they have to engage behind the scenes.
Right. And that would actually bring me to my last question, Doc. And sorry for butting in, yes. Which will be that you are advising that they engage. How do we make progress, considering that both sides, especially the minority, seem to have taken an entrenched position? How do we move on from here so at least parliamentary business can continue?
I think we've seen more difficult situations in our parliamentary history. I strongly believe, no matter the public display of disagreement and so on, they are matured people, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's only dialogue that will get us out of this. And as the minority leader himself has praised his colleague on the majority side as being matured, diplomatic, and tolerant, I believe they should explore and exploit that virtue in Honorable Mama Erga, and then perhaps together they can get to the Right Honorable Speaker and the wider leadership. Right. That's the only way we can get out of this, because at the end of the day, whilst the minority wants, I mean, to the citizens of our country to hear his voice, you know, it also has to be careful by demonstrating that it's a credible government in waiting.
Right.
Obstruction, shouting, it doesn't convey that image of a credible government in waiting.
Okay.
Rather, you know, some kind of level of engagement and openness to discuss and do some give and take, I believe, would be what would be expected.
Okay.
Of both sides, particularly of them, who for us we see as a government that is waiting.
Dr. Rashid Rahman, thank you so much for your time this evening. He's the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Meanwhile, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party has backed the minority caucus in Parliament, and they have also issued a statement a short while ago in that regard, and portions of the statement reads, the party sees this selective and autocratic posture of the Speaker as very dangerous, with all these actions packaged to cow the minority into submission, consequently weakening its potential to hold the government accountable. The party calls on all especially its honourable members of parliament, to be assured of the party's unflinching support at all material times and fully supports the press conference of the Minority Caucus on February 3, 2025 and its subsequent briefings. In the spirit, the party wishes to state that it does not accept the decision of the Speaker to suspend its members, which is in flagrant disregard for the Constitution of the Republic and as well as the rules of natural justice. The party hereby reiterates its position that it stands with the 88 gallant honourable members to address all forms of repression and unfairness in the application of the rules governing Parliament and the nation. So those are the words of the NPP as a political party who are supporting the actions and decisions of the minority in Parliament.
Meanwhile, the special committee set up by the Speaker to investigate the chaos that took place on Thursday, February 13 in Parliament, has assured that its work will not be a witch hunt of any member of Parliament. Chairman of the committee, Emmanuel Bedra, has requested lawmakers to be cooperative, saying they will work within the mandates given by the Speaker. The committee will begin public hearings into all issues from Wednesday, February 5.
We are to conduct a full-scale investigation into the event of Thursday, 30th January, and the morning of 31st January. 2, identify all members involved in the disorder and submit a report with findings and recommendations. To do this, the committee wishes to announce that we have decided to hold a public hearing of all the issues starting from Wednesday here in Parliament House at 10 a.m. prompt. We shall expect members of Parliament, the media, the guests who were present at a vetting room, as well as members of the general public, to voluntarily appear to assist the committee with the relevant information on the incident.
Away from Parliament, for years, the United States has played a major role in Ghana's development agenda, funding healthcare, education, agriculture, and economic growth through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. These interventions are about to change following President Trump's indignation of the agency's work. Enyonam Haliga has the rest of the story.
Ghana's stance with foreign aid may well be ending as the wells dry. The latest significant cut to be suffered as a result of Trump's administration is the shutdown of US aid, is seeing over $1 billion cedis in budgetary support go up in smoke. US aid has been instrumental in providing support to many sectors within the Ghanaian economy. On the frontiers of health, the potential impacts could be devastating, as over 700 million Ghana cedis, approximately $45 million, has been disbursed to improve maternal, newborn and child health services over the next 5 years. The withdrawal of the USAID funding has the potential of increased disease prevalence as programs targeting diseases such as malaria and HIV/AIDS all face disruptions, potentially leading to high infections rate. On education, as much as $30 million goes up into initiatives like illiteracy program, teacher training and infrastructure development. The cessation of this funding could result in stalled educational projects and resource constraints. In agriculture, the story is the same. $29 million in contribution has been directed towards enhancing food security and promoting sustainable farming practices. The shutdown now could lead to disrupted agricultural projects and further hikes in food inflation, which is well above 28%. The latest policy announcement may not come to many as a surprise, following the Trump administration's ongoing efforts to make America great again. While the full impact is awaiting to be felt, some experts like Dr. John Kwachi believe the fast decline in aid must prompt leadership to resort to its natural resources. In Unauthorized TV3 News, Accra.
A cocoa farmer at Mpoho in the western region, Kweku Kropa, is demanding the immediate exhumation of the remains of a galamsey which was allegedly buried on his farm by the police without his consent. Some community members are also concerned about the health implications as the site is close to River Nkwe, which sustains several communities in the catchment area. Irama Smith reports.
The deceased illegal miner, Kwame Rasta, is alleged to have fallen into an abandoned illegal mining pit, losing his life in the process. The farmer, Kweku Kropa, recounts how on the 17th of January 2025, he had received a call from the caretaker of his rubber plantation at Nyamena Unim in the Mpoho district that a galamsey working in the nearby Nkwe River had lost his life. However, the police and some opinion leaders from the Tumentu community had retrieved the body and wanted to bury it on his farm.
The ban say me no baby to say takrade. Na me te say minimum amoye galamsey o hono. Obi awuda nso no. Na mo boy a ohwe o ba no so no. O ye no say a police for aba o. Na me say a police for no one na o ba o. Na o say ohwe no nkrofo ka ho nti ohwe na ama police for aba o. Nti e ba no sa no. A police for na mo ba ho no. O mo say the way about na aye no de. Aye say musie no okoko no mu. Me na me ni ho no. Nti o mo ka sa no. Na o mo bisa me say no. I will just say o mo sie no okoko no say ah. The about na aye no police for no krapo o mo ko. Nti say mu nja nti wo de a. Na me say ah. Dentia. Na me say ah. My dear police for ba kan o me de me ntumi kan wa asem bia. Na ampa chire kura ba 3 days time. Mo ko na no kwese. Mo si no.
A local farmer, Kwame Ahanta, who assisted with the process, indicates the police advised for the body to be buried close by due to its poor state.
Nti sa na te dia wo ma police fo so asonte na police fo no wo ma dusu na kasa kora office wo na ko police for 8
Police for almost na
wo fi Mpoho.
Okay, Mpoho
Police no obey so obejegira ha no sa de no wo yin yes ade nsu na ogina
and tumba na nipa ne din
so de nsu ya fa esa nka akura ampa so obegina ho na otwitwa photo a no wo wi ya police fo chere de wo mpa no metra
nti police for no kase wonsi no
yensi no ha ayala.
Asake Ebusuapenyin Nana Kojo Saki is concerned about the health implications for residents of nearby communities which depend on the Nkwe River for sustenance.
But I tell you what's a place for them. You need a place for them. You need to work. But you can't watch her. I know what you're looking for. What you look baby. Tell you the way seen her. And so, you see, answer my question. So, you will see what I'm quite open soon. You need me any person, no one such a welcome. When you would get ancestors, and see one.
Meanwhile, the district commander of the Mpoho District Police Command, Superintendent William Jemfi, has denied knowledge of the issue and asked for time to investigate. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Mpoho.
Let's go to the Central Region, and the Acting Director General of the Ghana Health Service says the service is ready to take cholera and meningitis education to schools and other public places. Professor Samuel Kabakoria, who was in the Central Region to get first-hand information on the outbreak, said health professionals are up to the task in dealing with the menace.
The first cholera case for the Central Region was recorded on October 31st, 2024 in Kaswa in the Ewusu-Senya East Municipality. However, cumulative suspected cases for the Central Region stand at 2,047, while the cumulative death toll for the region stands at 14. According to the Central Regional Health Directorate, out of the 22 districts, 20 have recorded cholera cases, while districts such as Ewusu-Senya East, Asen North, Agona East, Upper Dentra West and Goma West that recorded earlier cases of cholera have no active cases now. Ijumako and Ekunfi are the new districts with active cases. Acting Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Agnes Anani, highlighted some of the measures being put in place to deal with the menace during a stakeholders meeting to find a lasting solution to the outbreak.
We've sent a lot of information around, we've engaged the media, and we are also still engaging CIC so that at least they will play our jingles for us. And also we've done a lot of community debates, and currently we have mobile vans and radio adverts ongoing to at least sensitize the people and create more awareness about cholera. Then we've had a lot of stakeholders engagement, and this happens to be one of the stakeholders engagement to see how best we can tackle cholera within the region.
A recent water rationing situation in the central region has also been identified as one of the challenges in winning the fight against cholera, as residents are not getting adequate water for domestic purposes. Dr. Atokwansa is the Regional Director for Community Water and Sanitation Agency.
Some of the pumps breaks down, and those account for reasons why sometimes we are unable to provide enough water to the rural folks. But that notwithstanding, as sector players, we've accepted the challenge that if we really want to combat cholera in the region, then we need to first of all deal with these leakages, install safeguard equipment on our electromechanical equipment to ensure that water flows quickly to our people in order for our rural folks to get enough water for domestic use and also to use some to promote hand washing and running water.
Acting Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Kakoria, said the Ghana Health Service will increase sensitization campaigns at schools and market centers while embarking on vaccinations.
This is the time we have to collaborate. This is the time we have to, and we must, partner each other. Spread the word. We are going to take this campaign to schools, to the market centers, to all parts of the country. We'll be given a national update on the situation of cholera and meningitis. We will make sure that this situation should not repeat and becomes like part of our life, that every year we have to come here because of cholera.
The Ghana Police Service has arrested 3 suspects over the violent disturbances during a football match between Nswatreman FC and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And the statement from the Ghana Police Service, it says the suspects are Ignatius Bafwewa, who is a former member of parliament and actually the owner of the club in Nswatreman. Also, one of the suspects is Ajimandria Owusu and Treme Joseph. All 3 suspects are currently in police custody, undergoing or aiding with investigation. A search conducted in the room of suspect Ajimandria Owusu led to the retrieval of 2 dresses with suspected blood stains and an MP23 pistol with 15 rounds of ammunition. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, has spoken to the family of the deceased and the leadership of Kumasi Asante Kotoko to express the condolences of the police. He also assured the family and the club of a thorough investigation into the matter. A special team has been deployed from the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters to assist the Bono Regional Police Command in investigations. And it follows the unfortunate death of one Kotoko supporter called Pole over the weekend due to some stabbing.
You're watching News 360 live from the News Hub here at Addis Ababa. We have business news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
I love President Charcoal. Why?
When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste.
That's both charcoal and lemon.
Oh, does it?
Yes. Look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has 2 of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced?
Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
Pepsodent. Come on. Let's go.
Darling natural twists blend with her hair over time.
Yeah, that's perfect.
She's really more beautiful every week. Darling natural twists get better every day, just like you.
Maria Da Paz comes from a family of professional vigilantes, the Ramirez, and falls in love with Amado, a trained lawyer and a member of the rival business clan, the Mato. Facing the hatred nurtured by their families for decades, Maria Da Paz and Amado make a peace pact that ends tragically.
Tem que fugir.
Força.
Will their love conquer the decades of hate, rivalry, and animosity? Find out in Sweet Diva.
Sweet Diva shows Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by MTN, Cowbell Coffee, Yamvita, Onga, Kivo 100% natural hot pepper, Kasim's Baby. MTN.
West Hills Ridge Property, Eden Heights.
And hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, as Dr. Johnson Esiama assumes office as the new governor of the Bank of Ghana today, economist Professor Peter Korte has called on him to urgently address the depreciation of the local currency and the high cost of borrowing. Professor Korte expressed confidence in Dr. Esiama's ability to transition smoothly into the role, citing his strong academic background and previous tenure as a deputy governor. Dr. Esiama takes over following Dr. Ernest Addison's departure on terminal leave ahead of his contract's expiration in March 2025. On his first official day in office, he assured financial markets of stability, emphasizing continuity in the central bank's policies.
The public must see us, as working together. It's just another transition, which is normal. The good thing is some of the people here are people we know already. And so the transition, you can be sure, will be smooth. Today is day one. We are just touching base, getting updated on issues. As the days unfold, we'll get to other things.
Meanwhile, Professor Peter Korte reiterated the need for the new governor to prioritize macroeconomic stability in his leadership.
We need to ensure that the exchange rate is very, very stable. That will then help businesses, would help us to focus, will help us to plan our economy. Then also the issue of interest rate. Interest rate in Ghana is one of the highest in the sub-region. So what can they do to ensure some stability, given that we operate a market economy?
Now, the outgone managing director of the Intercity STC Coaches Limited, Nana Akomia, has renewed calls for the government to tie transport fares to the dollar exchange rate. This move, he believes, will significantly enhance Ghana's public transportation system.
Nana Akomia points out that while all cost components in the transport sector are heavily influenced by dollar rates, transport fares remain under the control of government bureaucracies, creating a mismatch that warrants reform.
The main cost items are fuel and spare parts. The prices of these cost items depend directly on the dollar. When they change, it means the transport company faces higher costs. But the main revenue, which is the fares, doesn't change, is not responsive. Fares are determined by bureaucracy. at the Ministry of Transport.
To further improve efficiency, safety, and reduce costs, Nana Acumia also advocated for dedicated lanes for public buses.
Kumasi to Accra is maybe 270 kilometers. 270 kilometers under normal circumstances should not take more than 3 hours if you are doing 100 kilometers per hour. Now it can take you anything between 6 and 7 hours simply because of traffic. So it's urgent that the authorities do bus lanes, which will be enforced by traffic wardens and so. Even the transport companies can pay a little something for the salaries of the wardens, just to make sure that the bus lanes are kept.
He made these remarks during his farewell party, where he emphasized the importance of open door policies and increased engagement among leaders.
Now, Ghana's food inflation remains a key driver, rising to 28.3% in January 2025 from 27.8% in December. However, general inflation rate eased to 23.5% after a 5-month surge. This development follows the government's failure to meet its 2024 year-end inflation target of 15% as inflation climbs to 23.8% in December 2024, up from 23% in November.
Consumer Price Index for the month of January 2025 stood at 252.6 relative to 204.5. Given these two indices, year-on-year rate of inflation for the month of January 2025 stood at 23.5%. Year-on-year annual rate of inflation for the month of January 2025 stood at 23.5. This indicates a slowdown of 0.3 percentage point, leading to a disinflation for the month of January 2025, with December rate at 23.8%, slowing down by 0.3 percentage point in January 2025, leading to a disinflation with a rate of inflation figure of 23.5% for the month of January 2025. This means that over the one-year period between January 2024 and January 2025, general price levels of goods and services went up by 23.5%.
Now, Société Générale Ghana has launched its Deposit and Drive promotion, an initiative designed to reward loyal customers while fostering a culture of savings. The campaign offers customers a chance to win exciting prizes, including a brand new Toyota RAV4 and all expenses paid trips to Singapore and Dubai.
Running from February to May 2025, the Deposit and Drive promotion encourages customers to deposit 500 Ghana cedis or multiples of it into their SG accounts to qualify.
We want also to tell them that to thank their loyalty, to welcome the new customers, and to tell them that thank you for trusting in this solid bank, and we want to encourage this culture of saving by rewarding the effort of saving and making it a habit for each of our customers.
The promotion will feature 2 mini draws leading up to a grand draw in September 2025, where winners will walk away with major prizes.
There are exciting rewards. The top prize, of course, is the brand new Toyota RAV4. There are also other prizes, trips away, Singapore. There are trips internally, Royal Senchi and others. We also will give up certain rewards intermittently, microwaves, fans, TVs, all those things are also available to be won.
To qualify for the draw, customers must accumulate deposits of at least 3,000 Ghana cedis.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next is sports.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, Soft Care always stays with you.
New Soft Care Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for for 12 hours long, offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
You like no other.
you are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy. I love my Indomie.
This advert is FDA approved.
When the sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between. On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okamsi.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders, and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down. Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the center of corruption investigations. Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Good evening and welcome here on my name, the family of Yao. Apologies for the technical hitches there, but the family of deceased Asante Kotoko fan Francis Yao Frimpong, affectionately known as Nana Pole, have demanded for justice over the demise of the staunch Kotoko fan. Pole was stabbed in the Ghana Premier League matchday 19 clash between Kotoko and Nswacheman and died upon arrival at the Sunyani Hospital. My colleague Emmanuel Owusu was at the residence of the deceased earlier today and put together the following report.
The quest for 3 points, contested in a hostile environment and hostility in Nswatre between Nswatreman and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, ended in fatality that has not only put Ghana football in mourning, but left more questions than answers. For 90 minutes, fight broke out sporadically between rival fans and players on the field slugger it out. Then away from the field, an incident happened that has changed Ghana football completely. A popular Kotoko fan, Yao Frimpong, known popularly as Nana Pole, was pronounced dead at the hospital following a stabbing at the stadium, according to multiple eyewitness accounts. The National Circles Council of Asante Kotoko say they will boycott all official GFA competitions until justice is done.
Yes, supporters here come up with what you say, but the first guarantee is safety. I'm a medical security. We are not patronizing any FNBBR.
At the house of the deceased, there is a sense of sadness and shock as the news sink in. Ya Gifty is the deceased wife. The family of the deceased say they want justice and want the perpetrators of the violence are thoroughly dealt with. Frederick Echampon, an executive council member, led the delegation to the family of the deceased and says the death is a major drawback to the Ghana Premier League.
Yes, it's not only going to take a shine out, but I mean, it's a serious thing. You see, this will scare people away. Football environment is supposed to be safe environment, because see, football games, our stadia is supposed to be safe enough for families to even come attend games with their children. But if these things keep happening, how do you expect somebody to attend matches with their kids, with their children? If the places are unsafe, if such venues are unsafe, how do you expect people to even have the will to go and watch games?
A really, really sad one. But still on the issue, the Ghana Police Service has confirmed the arrest of Ignatius Bafwe, the owner of Nswatraman FC, in connection with the tragic death of the Asante Kotoko supporter during the match between the two clubs on February 2nd, 2025 in Nswatre. Bafwe Ewa, a former member of parliament for Sunyani West, an ex-minister of state, was apprehended alongside two other individuals, Ajimandia Owusu and Cheme Joseph, to assist with ongoing investigations. The tragic incident occurred when violent disturbances broke out during the match, resulting in the death of Francis Yao Frimpong, that is popularly known as Nana Pole. In a search of Owusu's room, police discovered two dresses with suspected blood stains and an MP-23 pistol with 15 rounds of ammunition, which has further intensified the investigation. Now that's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. Up next is entertainment.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by
Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil,
powered by 3 Entertainment. Tonight in this segment, the annual Grammy Awards, one of the most eagerly awaited nights in music, took place on Sunday at the Crypto Arena in Los Angeles. The 2025 edition saw Kendrick Lamar dominating the night, winning all 5 of his nominations, while Beyoncé took home 3 awards in total.
Brought together the biggest names in entertainment on Sunday night in Los Angeles. Nigerian front 10th triumphed over major contenders like Davido, Asake, Wizkid and Yemi Alade, claiming the Best African Music Performance Award for her song Love Me Jeje. This victory made her the first Nigerian artist and the only Nigerian female artist to secure 2 consecutive Grammy wins.
Be the glory, because honestly, he's changed my life so much. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, Beyoncé.
And it certainly was a grand event. Portia just returned from the Grammy, so well, Portia, you're welcome back. Let's find out what's happening on the international front.
U.S. markets have stabilized after Mexican President Claudio Sheinbaum reached a deal with President Trump to suspend tariffs on Mexico's goods. Global stocks had plunged following Trump's move to impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China, sparking fears of a trade war. Despite the agreement, markets remain volatile. The Dow Jones recovered slightly but remains down, with tech and auto stocks among the hardest hit. The US dollar strengthened while the Canadian dollar fell to a 20-year low. Canada Mexico and China have vowed to retaliate while the EU braces for potential tariffs. Investors fear rising inflation and economic slowdown as uncertainty grips global markets. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he will cut all future funding to South Africa over allegations that it was confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. Last month, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed into law a bill that allows land seizures without compensation in certain circumstances. Land ownership has long been a contentious issue in South Africa, with most private farmland owned by white people 30 years after the end of the racist system of apartheid. There have been continuous calls for the government to address land reform and deal with the past injustices of racial segregation. South Africa's president responded to Trump with a post on X stating, "South Africa is a constitutional democracy that is deeply rooted in the rule of law, justice and equality. The South African government has not confiscated any land."
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Portia Gabor. Do join Alfredo Kansi at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. Good evening.